It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. I'm your host. The show is called The Legends. In the House of the Legends, I bring you brothers building bridges. Now, this consists of a foundation of guys that put this foundation together to mentor young men. So here we are together. We have brothers that's building bridges. And we have in the house, we have Cameron, we have Dylan, we have John, we have Stanley, Keith, and we have Tony. Welcome to The Legends. So Keith, I want to ask you, how did this foundation actually erected, and when was it erected?
I would say about 16, 17 years ago,
Okay,
we had a program in our church
okay,
in which we mentored young men on a Friday night.
okay,
These were teenagers
right,
from the ages of about maybe 12 to about 15, 16 years old.
mm-hmm.
And we would meet each Friday night to have them just kind of talk about different things that they wanted to talk about but wouldn't talk about to anyone else.
Right.
So this was a very important program that was part of the church.
Okay,
Stanley Evans, who also belongs to the same church,
mm-hmm.
approached me about taking the program outside of the church and into the school system.
okay,
So he and I went into another area of Brooklyn to try and pitch the program to an elementary school.
mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, at the time, they did not have the type of mentors and men that we needed in order to make the program actually go. So we came back to our own community, Bedford-Stuyvesant community,
Right.
and I just happened to know the principal of a school in the area, Harold Anderson. At the time, they had another program in there, a mentoring program called A Few Good Men.
Okay,
The program kind of faded, and we were able to come in and actually start working with 10-year-olds who were fifth graders.
mm-hmm.
And we were able to continue the program, and here we are about 15, 16 years later. Program's been
Okay.
going strong.
And that's great. So Stanley, the consistency and the fundamentals of the program, how does that work?
Well, we, in our concept of mentoring these young men, when we came to CS21, they have a program there called the Young Men of Character,
Okay,
which was being run by these four gentlemen called the Few Good Men who did disappear.
mm-hmm.
And when we approached Mr. Anderson, the principal, with our idea,
Mm-hmm.
he liked the idea, but he was a little skittish because he thought that, like the other guys, we would leave.
Mm-hmm.
But with our idea of the young men of character, that was where we wanted our focus to be. How to take these young men and start from the foundation, which is a great school, and train them how to be worthwhile to themselves
Right,
and to their communities
mm-hmm.
and to their families, and to almost create, in a sense, a new generation of young men coming along who are, as they old times used to say, about something. What are they really doing? Are they well educated? Are they
Right.
well read? Are they well bred? Are they well traveled? Do they know how to treat their women right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about their women, we can start with their mothers and their aunties and their grandmothers and their girlfriends.
Right, right,
And this, we always teach them that charity begins at home and then it spreads abroad.
right.
And that's why we start with these young, 10-year-old young men of character and quality. And when we talk to them about their character, we can remind them that they're young black men, but the essence is being a man of character. And that's what it's all about.
Right. So, Tony, what would you say the success rate is as far as the foundation is concerned?
Well, God has been good, brother, because
Okay.
I've been involved over 11 years.
Okay.
And I know in the 11 years that I've been there, we have mentored over 300 to 400 boys, in
Okay.
terms of averaging 25 to 30 pretty much every year, and it's been a remarkable journey. Really.
Okay.
I think the greatest thing is that I came in there. Some of our members obviously are not here right now.
Okay.
One in particular, Mr. Greg Jones Sr.
Okay.
He's the one that invited me down, and it pricked my heart when I came down. I came down as a performer, entertainer,
Right.
entrepreneur, just to talk about my career and the career in music business, and it pricked my heart to see the kids. And to see the earnest of the kids that they wanted to learn, they wanted to you to tell them some things to help them to grow.
Okay.
And I didn't grow up with my dad in the house.
Okay.
And so that was such a strong part of my growing up, and understanding what it is to have someone that cared. And God is good, brother, because here I am 11 years later.
This show is very important to me because I have grandkids and I have great grands, and it's a job that's like I would say it's not an easy job.
No, it's not.
Because you're dealing with different personalities, different characteristics, and
Sure.
almost different DNA, I might say. You know what I'm saying? Stanley, due to the fact that you're doing this, was it a vision?
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I had when I decided to retire from the Board of Education after about 36 years of teaching high school and college, I was trying to decide what else to do with my life.
Okay.
And I knew I couldn't sit on the couch watching Maury. And I did have a dream. And my dream was to create a program called Adopt a School. And with all due respect to the church that we came from, had nothing to do with the teen TMO, because truly I didn't know about the TMO. I was not a part of that.
Okay.
But the way God works things, everything seemed to merge, because when I spoke to the gentleman at our church about the program, only one seemed to hear what I had to say.
Right.
And that was Mr. Keith Bennett. And he came back to me about a week or two later and said, I heard what you had to say. So I said, well, gee, God, maybe you are answering my dream that I've had about Adopt a School.
Wow.
And that's how we began. And he's been expanding our territory ever since.
Right, okay.
Because when we started, as Keith mentioned, at a school that wasn't a fit for us, we were directed right back home.
Okay.
To Bed-Stuy, to these young men of character, about 15 years ago or so, after the original seed of the idea had come about, and we've been on our way ever since. And the beauty part about it is, when you plant that seed, when you get an opportunity to see it grow.
Right.
And now a lot of those young men, some of them related to the brothers who are sitting here today, are now some of the finest colleges in these United States. Morehouse, Dartmouth, Cornell, other parts of State and City University. So we're doing something right.
You're doing something right. Now I wish I was young again. Maybe y'all could have just built me up again. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Come on.
So we're going to hear from some of the children that's actually associated with this program. And I want to hear from you, Cameron. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Great. So what has the program done for you, and what do you look forward to as far as growing up?
Well, the program has done a lot for me. It teaches like the 5 wells: well dressed, well spoken, well traveled.
Okay.
The other 2 are not coming to me right now, but
That's okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
yeah, they build my character, how to act in public, and I look forward to, if I have kids of my own,
Right.
hopefully there will be another generation of brother building bridges, and my kids can learn character and all the other stuff that they teach me at Yemen Character.
That's great.
Well, now, thank you.
Well
thank
said.
You, sir. I'm telling you.
Dylan,
Well said. There you go.
what's going on, Dylan? What's going on? How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling awesome to be
That's
on this
great.
show right now.
So what has the program done for you, and what are you looking forward to as far as your future?
Well, the program has done a lot for me. Like Cameron said, they helped me build my character, they show me how to act in public, what to do, and it just teaches me like how to act around other people. And farther in life, what I figured to carry on is like what Cameron said, show my children what we do in Young Men and Character, and then they can carry that on for another generation and for another generation, and then treat them how to act well.
Okay. And John, how you doing, man? How you feel?
I'm doing great today.
That's great, man. And I'm glad to hear that, man. So what has the program done for you, and what are you looking forward to in life as far as your future?
Well, the program has teach me to be like a young man
Okay.
and
All right.
succeed me through life. Like Cameron said, hopefully I'll teach my kids, probably make a program of my own and
Okay.
bring my kids in them. And yeah.
So would you say, Cameron, that your esteem is very up right now, very high as
Yeah.
far as yourself is concerned?
Yeah, my esteem is very high. Being with the mentors makes me feel confident. Yeah.
And how do your parents feel about, this program?
My parents feel good about the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And you, Dylan, how do your parents feel about the program?
My parents feel like the program teaches me a lot, shows me more manners outside of school. I mean, in school. So, it just shows them what I'm learning in Young Men and Character.
Okay. John, same question. How do
Well,
your parents feel about this program?
they feel great.
Okay.
They think it's gonna make me succeed through life. They think it's a good program for us young men.
Okay. One more question I'm going to ask you, Cameron, before we take a break. When you see a kid acting out of character, how do you feel about that?
When I see a kid acting out of character, I feel kind of like disappointed because they're not getting. Because with the mentors, if they're at our school, they're not listening to what the mentors are saying. They're not building the right character.
Right.
They're choosing to follow what the other friends are doing, the negativity that they're doing, and I just feel like I could help them, and like these great men here
Right, okay.
can help them build their character even more.
Okay.
I
So,
want to say something.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of the greatest things is that the other members, like I said, Greg Jones Sr., Jr., and you have Coach, okay, Jeff, and some of the other brothers that are with us. Collectively, we bring about 300 years, 400 years of experience. And so that was what was significant to me when I first came in.
Right.
And so collectively, all the experience that we bring is how we look to share with them, and let them understand what character is all about.
Okay.
Integrity and honesty, and being able to do things in the right way. So you have 7, 8 men who are bringing their shared experiences together,
Right.
to let them understand this is what character is about.
Okay.
We're not perfect.
Right.
But what we are men that are on a journey. We're older, we're more mature, we've seen life, and we're trying to give them the map to understand how to go forward in the right way.
Right.
So there's a lot of experience coming your way,
That's
brother.
great.
You know what I'm saying?
Who does the academics as far as building up their academic skills in the program?
Well, just a little background about me.
Sure, go ahead.
I am a member of the Department of Education. I started out as a teacher, and I've been a school counselor for the past probably 35 years.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'll be retiring this year.
Oh,
So I do the academic part of the program, whereas I consult with both Tony and Stan each week about what type of lesson that we want to actually give the young men for that particular week. And we cover a wide variety of different topics so that they get a broad perspective on things that are going to be important as they grow and develop from young man into manhood.
Right.
So we spend about anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes on the academic component of the session. And then we have what's called a breakout session, whereas whatever the topic is, each of the mentors takes a small group and they go back to their respective tables. They have a discussion about it. And then we have a share out, whereas when they're finished talking about the topic, they then will have a representative from the group in which they're actually working with to actually share out the information that they would like the rest of the group to basically know.
Okay. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
I am a young man of character. Who am I? I am a young man of character, led by mighty men of character, mentors kind enough to fit me on their calendar every Wednesday for after school. They empower me with life tools, tools that will help me to become a better me, to reach my goals and follow my dreams. Who am I? I am a young man of character and part of a brotherhood. I'll encourage my brothers to do what's right and do what's good. As my brother's keeper, we will keep all negativity as dust under our sneakers. Who am I? I am a young man of character who will keep my character intact. And as a role model, I will stay on the right track. I love knowing this one beautiful fact. The mentors of young men of character will always, have my back.
And we're back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. The show is called The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, we're talking with brothers that are building bridges. So we're going to take you right back to Tony again, and we're going to ask you, your passion with this, as far as building character and things of that nature. Would you say it starts with you so you can actually reflect it back to them in a sense?
Oh, yeah.
And do you actually learn things from the program that can give you substance in your life as well?
Listen. I think one of the greatest things is that we learn from these kids, these young men of character. Okay. Right? So many things that reflect sometimes how we grew up, okay, and things that we saw or sometimes did not see. I mean, it's a fun reaction to talk with them. You know what I mean? And to think about when you were a kid.
Right,
You know what I mean? And someone always told me, always keep the kid inside of you.
Right.
And I think we try to do that as much as we can.
Okay.
And also teach as well. Let me give you an example. We go on trips, museums and bowling and so on and so forth, and you see funny things. We went on a bowling trip a couple of years ago, and the kids all had to go to the machine to get sodas.
Right.
They brought their sandwich to get sodas. And I noticed this one little kid, and he's sitting down at the bottom of the machine where the change comes out. And so the kids just getting the sodas and we're leaving. And then he realized they had change. And so he's sitting there with the change, and he starts collecting all the change.
Oh, okay.
And so he's sitting there collecting the change, like, okay, what are you doing? He
Right.
said, oh, this is all for me. I said, no, this not for you. It belongs to them. He
Right.
said, no, I'm the one that sat here and got all this change. I said, it's not yours.
Right,
You got to
right,
give
right.
it back. So we laughed about that. It's just so many funny moments that we have with the kids. You know what I'm saying? The personalities of the kids.
Okay.
And each young man has their own personality.
Of course.
And I think that's a wonderful
That's a
thing.
great thing.
Wonderful thing.
Stanley, my next question to you is very important because I see where it's going. I see how it's elevating. Let's talk about the spirituality of the program.
That's extremely important.
Right.
Because understanding, of course, we're the first thing, each of us who come to work in the program as mentors,
Okay.
we bring in our own particular spirituality
Okay.
as men, basically Christian men. And, when you're working within the Department of Education, you have to tread lightly.
Right.
Because people can get to be very nervous sometimes, and sometimes people are of different faiths, and sometimes they are of no faith at all.
Right.
However, there are certain basics in spirituality that cover all the grounds about treating people right, doing the right thing, doing the correct thing when no one else is looking, and bringing quietly, but gently, but firmly, bringing God into the picture without beating people over the head. And as we've come to discover in talking to our young men and talking to their parents, that most of them feel the same way.
Right.
And just like when we started this prayer before we began today, we did,
I almost missed out on,
we do the
but
same,
I caught it.
We do,
You know.
we do the same thing
Yeah.
every Wednesday with before and after we meet. And occasionally, if we have time to bring the children in,
Right.
the young men, I should say. And there isn't any problem because many of them come from homes already where they've been prepared.
Right.
And they understand.
That foundation, yeah.
And those who were not prepared, they see from the way we encourage one another
Right.
that it's the right thing to do. See, that's why a lot of it, when we talk about scholarship and academia, and sometimes we're not always talking about what's in our books because our books are important. Like I said, I've been teaching for
Right,
35 years. But one of the things we do is talk about, that's what we call it, brothers building bridges.
Right,
We talk
okay.
about what a brotherhood means.
Exactly.
A fraternity. That means this is something that's going to last, God willing, a lifetime.
Right.
And this is why one of the things we do, we bring in men from all different walks of life. And what makes our organization different from a lot of other mentoring groups, there are 8 of us from different walks of life. So
Right.
we each have something different to
offer, yes.
So if the young men can't find it with one, they'll find it with the other. And then we can all interconnect. But the one thing we have in common is the brotherhood
Right.
and honor and respect and integrity. And that's what our spirituality is all about. And in fact, we took them to St. Patrick's Cathedral at Christmas time.
Okay.
And one of the first things some of the young men said, is it okay if we pray? Now, none of the boys in the
Wow,
group
that's
were
powerful.
Catholic, but they saw the Catholic folks dipping their hand into the holy water so they could make the sign of the cross go. And one young man dipped his whole hand in and put it on his face. And someone said, no, don't do that. I said, no, it's okay. I said, he got the full measure.
Right. I hear
He
that.
got the full measure. It's something but that's why they said come to him as like a child. And he'll understand. And they do understand. And just as well as we reached out and teach them, they reach back up. And they teach us. And we all share together.
You know, it's very important that things are being shared in that caliber, because today we need this as far as negative attraction towards the kids. You know, I feel that I see a lot. We know a lot, and we want to grab our hands and put it in there so we can actually make change. You know, what you guys doing are fantastic. You know, and my hat's off to you guys.
Let me say this to you. You
Sure.
know, each of us gets something out of it.
Right.
And bring something to it, and that's very important. One of the things that it's been 11 years for me now, and I had no idea it was going to be 11 years for me. But the greatest thing is that the kids are a reflection of the sense of us when we were kids, and some of us didn't.
It's like a
have that.
semi-offspring in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense, very,
Right.
very much so,
Uh-huh.
and didn't have that. And you know, I've had so many experiences with these kids. I've had kids come up and just grab me and hug me and say, "I'm glad you're here."
Wow.
Man, that's a
good
I
feeling.
have children and grandchildren of my own, but that's a marvelous thing when you know that you've touched the heart of a young man, and maybe at some point in the future that he'll remember that I was able to talk to this mentor and tell him some things that I couldn't tell somebody else,
Right.
and share some things with him, and even if it's just a handshake or a hug,
Right.
you know what I mean? Those things mean so much,
Right.
so much.
Stanley, like I said before, you know, brothers building bridges. How about sisters building bridges?
Well, I'll tell you exactly about sister building bridges from 2 different points of view.
Right.
When we came to the school, there was a group of girls there already. A young lady was handling the girls.
Okay.
Right? And then when we got ready to do our first fundraiser, one of the things we realized was, you know, you can't do everything alone.
Right.
We have to work as a collective.
Exactly, yes.
And other than Mrs. Brownhall, who is the mistress, shall we say, the head mistress of the young men of character, we realized that there were other women who were offering
Right.
to help us. And so we put this beautiful program together for our first fundraiser, and I listed each of these 6
Right.
women as the sisters building bridges.
Right.
So, You see, so you're just confirming
Right.
what we have started with on our next step in our
Well,
journey.
you know, the reason why I say that is because behind every man there's a strong woman.
beside every man. Beside
all
every
right.
man. This whole idea about behind,
No.
that's
Okay.
incorrect.
I
Right
received that.
beside every man.
But I
Okay.
think we do understand from a foundational
But
Right.
we understand.
Okay,
We
okay.
also understand there are times when we have to approach things from a man's point of view.
Right, right.
And the women who have been working with us, mothers as well as the other sisters who come in to work with, they understand that. In fact, when we have guests come in, our guests are not only men who come in, they come in women of success.
Okay.
Women of good character. Women who can show what it means to be a great woman. We had a dear lady, the Honorable Annette Robinson, who's a city council member of the city council for
Right.
25 years. And she came in and she spoke to the boys, the young men,
Right.
and about the law and the Constitution and all these things. And they were fascinated.
Right.
We had another dear lady who came in who talked to them, who spent her life traveling all over the world. And she
Okay.
talked to them about travel and what it means to get out, how your world is bigger
Right.
than an avenue, how you have to see things. And the beauty part of all these guests, male or female, 9/10 of the time, they come back again.
Okay.
And when they come back, they stay.
Well,
Like
okay.
Tony did, they stay. They come back. We've got firemen who came in to talk to us, they stayed.
Well, okay.
Police detectives who came in to talk to us, and they stayed.
Oh, wow.
Financiers who came in
Okay.
to talk to us,
Right.
and they stayed. So we must be doing something right.
You know, I also want to congratulate you guys on the citation from the mayor.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
You know, and that's kind of huge when you have political officials really acknowledging you guys.
Yeah.
You know, Stanley, can you tell the viewers quickly how can they actually get in contact with you guys as far as registration or if they want to actually be involved in your program?
I'll defer to Keith for that.
All right, Keith.
Yeah. So we have a website, brothersbuildingbridges.com.
Okay.
On that website, it gives you a chance to actually fill out your information,
Okay.
as well as donate.
All right.
Because, you know, as Stanley mentioned, you know, we had our first fundraiser several months ago. It was a huge success. And we're in the process right now of recruiting other young men to actually participate in the organization, and as well as trying to get people to actually donate money, as well as any other resources that would help us
Right.
to accomplish the goals that we want to basically accomplish. So that's brothersbuildingbridges.com. That's how anyone who, and then we have a business card that we're
Okay.
giving out. So
And there it is, guys. You know, I want to wrap it up in saying that this foundation is very important. Visit their websites and see if you can actually be a part of it or if you want your child to be a part of it. And this has been another T-Lil video production, and you guys stay tuned for another episode. Thank you.